The year has just started and already there are plenty of games coming out early this year to look forward to. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is out in early February for those who like their games ultra realistic and also really hard. People obviously like to gauge a game's difficulty with the Souls series, but clearly none of them have played the first Kingdom Come Deliverance, because this is definitely one of the hardest games I've ever played in recent memories. And there's the next entry in the long-running and very daunting Yakuza series in Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, a follow-up to the most recent Yakuza game from last year, Infinite Wealth, and follows the much-loved character Goro Majima, who's for some reason a pirate sailing around in what looks like a true sequel to Black Flag that everyone has been waiting for. I'll be honest, I have no idea what's going on in Yakuza, but it looks fun and people love these games. I just wish I had the time to get into them, but there's so many, it's a little daunting. And of course, arguably the biggest release of the early months of the year is Monster Hunter Wilds, which is going to sell like crazy and probably be another dub for Capcom, because they can't seem to make a bad game even if they try at the moment, and Wilds is looking like nothing but improvements from the already excellent World. All these games are highly anticipated by a lot of people, including myself, but there's a game that is due out in the first half of this year that I simply haven't seen enough people talk about, considering how cool and ambitious this game is. With an A-star studded cast and really unique story and setting, and some of the best looking turn-based combat that I've ever seen, it's baffling to me that not enough people are talking about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. It was first revealed last summer at the Xbox Summer Showcase, in which Xbox dominated in the showcase war between themselves, PlayStation and Nintendo. That's not actually a competition, but we decide who has the best showcase, and it was pretty unanimously decided that Xbox show was the best due to the amazing games that were shown. Doom the Dark Ages, Gears of War E-Day, and Perfect Dark all looked fantastic, and finally looked like Xbox were finally starting to look like they might start to become a serious competitor in what is already a long-lost console war. But there's no taking away from the game shown, as they all looked great, along with the second looks at Fable, Indiana Jones and South of Midnight, all coming from respected first-party Xbox studios. It's no surprise really that a majority of these took the attention, as Xbox fans' loyalty was finally being rewarded, but myself as a self-proclaimed Xbox skeptic, who was honestly wants the best for Xbox and their fans, but has been burnt by Xbox too many times to have 100% faith in them, that all these games are going to deliver. But I'm hopeful that they will, because I just love games. So when I first saw the trailer for Clair Obscur, I was instantly captivated. The basic premise of Clair Obscur is very unique, as it's a dystopian world where there is a being called the Paintress. A being that every year paints a number, and the number she paints then kills anyone of that age. And then you have a group of people who every year go on an expedition to try and stop her. This is so unbelievably creative based on premise and story alone, and then there's the gameplay, which, like I said before, is some of the best looking turn-based combat that I have seen in a modern turn-based game. It has the time action-based combat that looks like the Legend of Dragoon sequel we never got, but add a parry system taking big inspiration from Sekiro. I just don't think that this game could possibly disappoint me, and after seeing the first trailer, it was definitely the game that left the biggest impression on me, and with the one and only Benjamin Starr voicing over the trailer, to say my curiosity was piqued was an understatement. I wishlisted the game immediately and tried to gather the sentiment around the game and wondering if everyone else was as excited as me. And there definitely was a vocal minority, but that's what it was, a minority. But those who liked it, like myself, really liked it. And so time moves on, and we were graced with another 2 trailers a couple of months later, which showed us some more gameplay of exploration, and a trailer which showed us the full English voice cast. And oh my god, it's absolutely stacked. Ben Starr and Jennifer English voice some of the biggest video game characters of 2023. This alongside genuine Hollywood talent in Charlie Cox and Andy Serkis. Surely now this would garner a lot more interest from the mass audiences. But as the release window draws closer, I really don't see much buzz behind the game, which, considering how impressive the team behind it are, is really disappointing. So the studio behind Clair Obscur is a brand new team called Sandfall Interactive, a studio based in France and are indie, which when you look at this game and how it looks and the huge voice talent that they have, it's kind of insane that this isn't some big studio release. But no, the team at Sandfall is a humble 25 people, which yeah, is relatively big for an indie studio, but come on, look at this. How many indie games do you see that look like this? It's really impressive. But considering the pedigree of talent that Sandfall has, it's not really that surprising. They mainly make up of former Ubisoft developers, which yeah, people have their own opinions on Ubisoft, including myself. My last 2 videos I have slammed Ubisoft myself. But I've always truly believed that Ubisoft has some very talented devs, and it's very clear here because the team at Sandfall clearly were tired of the restraints of working for a company that churns out the same old open world formula year after year, and left to go independent. This hopefully plays dividends for the team, as a lot of them are fairly young and clearly hungry and want to leave their mark on the industry. So at this point, my excitement for the game couldn't be higher. Clair Obscur has become my most anticipated game in 2025. And then they did a press release interview with Edge magazine, alongside with this beautiful artwork for the game in physical print. So I made my way to my local WH Smith's and got myself a copy, just to look at this beautiful art and some more information on the game. The piece is a really good read, and I would highly recommend reading it yourself if you're remotely vaguely interested in the game. But I will go over some of the points that interested me the most. So there is a clear passion and love for JRPGs amongst the team at Sandfall, especially the CEO and creative director Guillaume Broche, with one of his favourite games being Persona 3, this being most evident in the style and flair of the combat. And if the game follows in Persona's level of quality, then we are really in for an all-timer here. There is also the 100% confirmation that the parry system in the game is inspired from Sekiro. Broche said that he was playing through it at the time and thought to himself, I love parrying, why isn't parrying in my game? So parrying was implemented into the combat of the game. There also seems to be an added element to the narrative, where everything won't be surface level, as the head writer of the game, Jennifer Svedberg, said she likes adding elements that are just unexplained, and it's up to the player to discover why it's there and trying to discover what's happened, and who had been on previous expeditions in these beautifully designed areas that are like nothing I've seen before in a video game. This is artistic freedom from the game's art director, Maxon Francombe, who echoes in his art and probably the whole game's development, saying that they don't need to make concessions for a mainstream audience, and if they did, it would be a mistake. Which again echoes to me at least that the team at Sandfall are incredibly talented and were fed up of being weighed down by the AAA industry, and now are flexing their creativity and hopefully coming out with potentially the best RPG of 2025. And on Thursday we get to see even more at the Xbox Developer Direct and hopefully get a release date. So if you're interested like me, be sure to tune in on Thursday. I know I will, because I simply can't wait for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So if you liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and if you're excited for a Clair Obscur Expedition 33, please let me know in the comments. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you again.